Get it going here. Today, episode 5, we are honored to have Jeff Zielinski with us. He's one of the, in my opinion, greatest BMX photographers of all time, and potentially even videographers. When did we meet? I think 2001, around there.
Yeah, it was at Woodward. No, you came with Ralph to Bob's house.
Right.
I met you in Sherbo's basement at his mom's house.
Exactly. So in like 2001, I took a bus across the country to visit Steve Crandall and go to an FBM jam. I was like 16 years old, star-eyed and excited. And the second I met Bob, he's like, dude, come to New York and just stay at my mom's house. I'm like, what? New York? This is sick. It turns out it's New Jersey, but it's a train ride away. And then we go over to Jeff's house one day, his parents' house. We're all kids at the time. And I've known you ever since.
Yeah, so. Was that before or after? Oh, it was after Blueprint, obviously. That was like 99, right? Blueprint?
Yeah. No, it was like right at the same time. Like it hadn't come out yet. At that point, I had only ever had clips in the Little Devil video.
That's right.
And all you guys were like, oh, you're the guy that had like 3 clips in the Little Devil video.
It was a really big deal.
It was a big deal.
That's a hard flex.
That was a big video, at the time. And if you could talk just a little closer to the mic.
Okay.
We want to get your real essence of your voice up in here. But, the Little Devil video, that was a moment, But interestingly, at that same time, I hadn't really put anything out, and you guys were on this Grizzle tip.
Yeah.
You were on this whole thing we'll get into in a minute, but I actually just wanted to start out with, what age did you get into photography?
I was sophomore in high school.
Okay.
So I don't know how old you are when you were a sophomore. 15, 16?
I think it's like 15, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And how old are you now?
40.
40?
Yeah.
Big 4. Oh.
Been hitting it.
So did you get into photos because of bike riding, or was it vice versa? Or?
It was, in high school, like, you have all these, like, elective classes,
Yep.
like ceramics or, like I don't know, wood shop or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
I took wood shop.
And I think I did both of those too, but, like, photography was the one, like, by the time, I was like, oh, well, at some point you almost have to take all of them.
Right. And the arty ones are funner.
And I didn't really know if I was going to do it or not. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. And, like, right away, I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I actually voluntarily stayed after school to, like, use the darkroom more. And I'm like, whoa. Usually, since school's done, you're out.
Right. You found
an
actual personal interest in it.
I'm actually staying after school,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that back then, like, I didn't shoot photos bike riding, really. Because, like, if I was going riding, I just wanted to go ride. I didn't want to, like, carry a camera.
Right.
And plus back then, like, for school, you had to use the school cameras. And you use them for, like, a day or two, and you had to bring them back, so, like, you need to use them. But, yeah, it wasn't until I would get hurt or something. Yeah, I'd roll my ankle or whatever, and then, like, I'd be itching to go ride, so I would just go and shoot some photos.
Yeah. So your other friends were riding BMX at that time by then, right? Bob and those guys? Or?
Yeah, actually it's weird. Like in my high school, my one friend who rode, eventually he was into hardcore and drumming and video games and BMX. And then the video games really took a hold. And it got to the point where it's like I'd go meet up with him. I'd go to his house because it was like I'd have to go from my house to his to wherever the next spot was.
Yeah.
So I'd stop by and, Chris, let's go ride. He's like, I'm chilling. I'm gonna eat some hot dogs and play this video game. And I'm like, I want to go ride.
Yeah.
Eventually, enough times that I think everyone's gone through this, where like you had a friend who rode, but eventually like you wanted to ride still, and they didn't, and all you did was ride. So you kind of like fade apart a little bit.
That's almost like every group's like first generation riding friends. They get a car, they get a girlfriend, they get video games,
job,
absolutely,
a job,
Taco Bell job, that fat check.
All 250.
Hey, bro, I gotta get to the mall on my days off and spend this baby.
That was me today, so I feel personally
we all
attacked.
been there. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. So what? I guess what I'm kind of getting at there. So you were in school and you had all these friends and everything, but why did you push so hard on the photo angle when they were like focus more on the grinds and no footers and all that?
Well, so when I was in high school, eventually, so there was this dude, this guy Nick Chin, and he actually was the first dude who had a video camera that I knew, and he showed up one day to the schoolyard we rode. He filmed us riding. It was the first time I saw myself riding on camera. And I was like, oh my god, it looks so fucking weird. I was like, this is so odd. Like
maybe this ain't my future.
Everything that like felt good. Seeing it, like, oh, that felt really good, but it looks terrible.
Oh, that's the worst.
You know, like, isn't that like
been there?
You know, oh, I really clicked that one. You know, and you're like,
every time I've ever filmed a clip,
I didn't really click it. Like, oh, my knees look weird, and it wasn't that.
Why didn't this look like when Joe Rich does it?
I think the biggest thing for me was just like I looked really tall.
Yeah, bro, same.
You know? And I was like, man, I look like a giant.
I think I'm too big for this, but I'm gonna stick with it.
That was in high school, you know. And that's when I actually started trying to like land and like crunch and just look like not like this big stiff person, you know. But that was the one thing I took away from that. But pretty shortly after that, I was like, fast forward a little bit. I'm graduating high school, and I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, like, I'm not going to be a bike rider. You know, I have to do something.
Yeah.
I like to shoot photos. So I enrolled in a school in New York called the School of Visual Arts.
Oh, cool.
SVA. And I would take a bus every day. It was like a half-hour bus ride into the city. It wasn't that bad. So I was doing that for a couple months, and then I dislocated my foot one day. You know, my foot was like that clip of Ethan Courier. It looked like that. My foot was like upside down.
Oof.
Yeah. It like popped out of the socket. And was like, so then I was on crutches for a couple months. Couldn't commute to the city, and then finally like I healed, and then I finished up my like semester during the summer to catch up and with the rest of his, you know, my classmates. And I was like, dude, this is the summer. Everyone's riding. What am I doing? And I just had this weird like moment, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this, you know, like
extreme FOMO.
Yeah, I was just like, dude, like everyone's riding. It's hot out. It's awesome. Everyone's not got to take his bus to go to school, you know. And then I got hurt again, and then I shot some photos just to get out of the house. And at the time, I thought they were kind of good. You know, I was like, oh, I got some here. You know, I sent them to ride, and they, you know, I sent it back. They gave me some critiques. Like I wasn't using real fisheye, and I wasn't. Looking back, those were pretty terrible.
Right.
But at the time, I think they were timed well, so I was like, oh, these are good photos, you know. And then I shot photos at like a Tom's River contest, like some 2-hip contest.
Those were good ones.
And they were almost usable, but I think.
Shout out to John Jennings.
I want to say Ted Nelson or someone. Van Holman's first photo ride was at that contest. It was like a black and white photo, one at a table.
I definitely remember that contest, yeah. That's when the Little Devil kids were like steezy as it could be getting BMX pretty much.
And the caption was like,
and Garrett.
The caption for the photo was like, Nobby up front, street tire in the back, we got a trail, something like that, you know? Like, and then seeing those photos, I'm like, oh, I know why I turn my photos down. These photos are much better.
Yeah. But you had that eye to compare it, which is all you need, really, right? Like,
that's true. I mean, at least if you think like, if you think your shit doesn't stink, you're just in a plateau, you know? And like, you have to always like have like the next benchmark that you want to reach, you know? But obviously back then, the benchmarks were like, you know, I had a lot to learn. You know, it's like, I still think I have a lot to learn, you know? You always do. But at that point. But yeah, so I was just, you know, trying to improve on it. And then Faction came along, and I was submitting photos to Faction, Dig, Ride.
Oh, okay. So that was like after I met you a little bit.
I think so. Yeah. I think I was shooting. I shot some photos for like Days and FBM,
right?
You know, but I don't think I actually got paid or anything.
Yeah.
But it was sick to see a photo somewhere. I didn't care about getting paid. But I remember when I first got a check, it was from Faction. I was like, oh my god, I actually got money for a photo.
I think I got a check or two from them too, and for just terrible photos, like a little soft, a little out of focus.
John Rogers does not care about
He was like, hey, it's content, bro, and the magazine was really cool. You know, it had its flaws like everything does, but it was really cool.
It definitely had.
It was culture.
Its voice, culture, yeah, for sure. But,
it was cool.
But after that, just set it off. So I was working part-time at this little like natural food store near my house, like off the books.
Yeah.
And like all the money I made from the food store was like to survive on, and all the money I made from photos I would save to put towards like buying better gear.
Yeah. How old were you at this point?
I was like 19 or 20.
Okay. So just out of high school.
Yeah, maybe I was 21. Kind of a blur. Let's just say 20.
Right.
Because I think I moved here when I was like 22 or 23.
Okay.
So
at this point, this is after Grizzle had come out, and Animal's now a thing. Well, fast forwarding a little bit through, I feel like a big moment.
So the first video I did was Stairs.
Yeah.
Because like, backstory, Barsman and Ryan made that video Soil.
Right.
It was all,
Right. So the
dirt
street
video.
version, that's sick.
So we're like, what's synonymous with riding street? Right,
Yeah.
all stairs. Well, that's what I was thinking. No one else
I like
was thinking it. And it was literally, edited between 2 VCRs.
Dude, that's the way we did it. It was so sick back then.
The titles, the names were made actually in the camcorder.
Yeah, I was telling Booty Groceries about this the other day. I was like, literally, that's all that existed when we were kids. I was like, it was a pain in the ass, but it was sick.
There was the fades that were in the video. Actually, there was a setting when you literally film the clip, you can fade the clip. So I would fade a lot of clips, thinking, this might be the one.
Yeah.
And then so a lot of clips I'd have to cut.
Yeah.
Before fade starts because that wasn't the right one to end it on. And the soundtrack was all like Real Biscuits and 7 Seconds, and it's all the stuff we listened to growing up, and the film was terrible, but but at the time it was this is just. I feel like nowadays I feel like everyone has as far as being a photographer or filmer goes, the skeletons in their closet, stuff that
right, whatever you made when you were younger.
Yeah, it's the quality is obviously not really there, but hey, well, this is what I had and I tried and I got here.
Yeah.
But this is where I started.
Yeah. Mine were insane. I had ghetto ramps I built in my backyard and would just make VHS videos of all my friends, and I was most BMXers are kind of punk rock kids in some form through that era, and I was playing Ministry and lighting stuff on fire in the videos, obvious Baco influence and all those what were those videos A Few Good Men and the early standard stuff hit me heavy, and so but so I guess to preface where I was going with the Grizzle thing a little bit, that when I came out on that trip and I met you guys, you gave me a copy of Grizzle. I think it had just come out, and I brought it back home, and it was the craziest impact I've ever seen. I mean, next to maybe Ruben Alcantara, a couple things that really changed BMX, even Eddie a little bit at a point, which I was on the inside of, so I didn't see as much, but it was there, the way it changed riding. But the way, when we watched that video the first time, watching George D feeble down a yard handrail, a skinny rail, seeing, I don't even remember all the tricks, but there was a lot in there, backwards rails, and a lot of feebles and smiths on skinny rails. First time ever, and it changed. I remember I brought it back to Portland, and we were oh wow, this is real street riding. We all rode street, and I loved homeless videos were pretty much my Bible as a kid. I was this is all I want to do is feeble grind to tooth bonks.
It's such a good feeling.
Yeah, and still to this day, metal peg, feeble tooth bonk. I did one today, loved it.
That's the preferred exit out of the grind.
Exactly, preferred exit. But but I mean. But you guys advanced it. That's the thing. And you advanced it while keeping it really real. It was actually riding street. The stuff, you could just die on this stuff. Feeble grinding inch-wide things. And now it's to the double tire level, but it's the same concept,
Are you thinking about Grizzle or Day Job, though? Is it actually?
I'm sorry, Don't Quit Your Day Job.
Okay.
I saw Grizzle, and Don't Quit Your Day Job just came out when I was leaving. Sorry about that.
I was
Grizzle was
a lot of praise for Grizzle.
But Grizzle was the precursor. It was all the same stuff, just a little worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was the same thing.
It was definitely.
But it had a cool vibe. Did you make one and Bob made the other one?
No, I made Stared and Grizzle, and then Bob and I together made Day Job.
Ah, okay. So yeah, I'm sorry. Don't Quit Your Day Job is what we're really talking about. Grizzle was the OG.
I think I had the only rail feeble in Grizzle.
Yeah.
Actually, the only time I ever feebled around stairs was in Grizzle.
But that was, I actually remember that. Grizzle was when you were still prime rider.
Right.
And then I feel Don't Quit Your Day Job was when George and Bob started just doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, they put them on the map.
Yeah.
They got sponsors.
But it changed bike riding. You know what I mean? It took a long time, but the influence is very clear. The taller bars, the bunny hopping, all the skinny rail stuff.
And flat,
the way, oh my God, you know what I mean? Just the whole vibe. It was unreal, but it changed our whole culture in the Northwest.
That's awesome.
It was really.
This is a lot because you guys.
It was really amazing. We were just I remember just showing, taking it around to every single person I know, I had a secret book, So,
the East Coast Street
Phil, have you ever seen Don't Quit Your Day Job?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, you know it.
Yeah.
I thought there was no way you'd know it.
Nah, I'm in this.
You're in this.
When I started, riding BMX, seriously, I went backwards and, learned everything and then started at zero.
So that's awesome. That's good. I kind of did the same thing a little bit.
That's how I am with everything, though. Literally everything.
Get into it.
Yeah, you like something and you go back, then go forward.
Yeah.
people.
You are talking about the day job 1, not 2, though, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes this conversation happens, and then after a couple minutes,
It's a newer
they're
writer.
talking
Oh,
about
shit.
day job 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no.
To me, that's not even a video.
That
That's
was
like
Bob.
so much later.
Yeah.
I was gone by then.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
this
so
one was life changing.
It's funny because like Doorstep is a lot like Day Job.
Mhm.
It's like insert Zach, and it's the same thing. Like he and I filmed like half and half, and
Yeah.
we both cut different sections, and then we just put together. Like, and I feel like even like the vibe and everything is pretty similar.
It's very similar. Yeah, that video is really good. I actually have that on here later in the thing,
Okay.
but we can go now. It's cool. Where can people find that video? Because I know it's not an easy one to locate.
Wait, Day Job
Yeah.
or
No, I'm sorry, your video, the new one.
What's that?
Yeah.
We don't have that many copies, or actually we don't have any more copies.
Y'all
but
can't get it.
I don't think we do.
Oh,
Any like actual
Yeah.
like hard copies. There might be some bike shops that have them, like
Yeah.
Pusher, Empire.
Is it ever going to go on the internet?
It is.
Oh,
already.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it is already.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can go on the
Yeah,
internet, guys.
we posted on
Doorstep BMX. Get that.
It's on the broad YouTube.
Garrett Reeves. That's
Yeah.
Garrett Reeves' final video part, as far as we know. Who knows what will happen in the future? But as of right now, and it's a banger.
Funny thing about Garrett, so we literally hit him up. Like I kind of knew he wouldn't make it to the premiere.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not in Long Beach. He's somewhere else.
Yeah, he's out east now.
Yeah. So no, he moved to Boulder. I heard. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
let's backpedal.
Yeah.
So I don't know, 2 or 3 days before the premiere, I hit him up, just thinking like, well, maybe. He's like, oh, I got a ticket. I'm moving to Hawaii like tomorrow.
Right.
And if you told me like a couple days sooner, I'm like, of course. Like he buys a ticket to Hawaii like 2 days before.
Yep.
But he did. But I guess he went there and he got sick.
He did.
And he
Eating
was there-
like fruit out of people's yards.
and like living under trees and shit.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
just
assuming,
living that risky life.
So he was there for like a week. I actually don't want to go on and talk about Garrett not knowing all the full story.
Yeah. Well, he just got sick. He was living off the land. We know that at that point in time, and it didn't go in his favor for a split sec there.
But now I'm pretty sure he's living more comfortably in Boulder.
Okay.
I think.
Good for him.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I heard he moved back to his parents' house and like life was good and he was chilling, after he got sick. But yeah, I could see him going. But he's a Boulder kind of guy.
Definitely not a Maryland kind of guy.
No. So shout out Garrett.
And yeah, his part is crazy.
But that's one of my favorite videos in a long time. The premiere was epic. I mean,
can't believe how the premiere went down.
Yeah, great night.
Oh, that's when I got stuck in the parking lot and couldn't go into the fucking theater.
Really?
Remember, you were like, "Oh, where are you at?" I was like, "I'm literally wedged in between another truck and Robbo's Volvo."
Wow.
And I can't
Robbo
get
has
out.
a Volvo?
Yeah, like a nice one.
Okay.
Fuck,
All right, man's making moves out there.
Yeah. But I was like,
Actually, it's funny. Well, we drive his Volvo because this is months ago, or I don't know. Last time I went to call, he's like, "Guys, yeah, I got a Volvo." And I'm thinking like
Bonding moment.
and I see the Volvo, and I'm like,
That's not a Volvo.
dude, it's like the same word on the car. That's the word.
It's funny because that's how I feel about 240s specifically.
Yeah.
Like just that one model of car. Maybe there's a 242 or something too.
Yeah,
But
those are really similar.
You know what I mean?
They're square.
if it's like 96 to anything earlier, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Volvo.
you guys are like the old salty punks who are like,
I know.
"That ain't fucking punk."
I know, dude. But
That ain't no Volvo.
But
Like,
the engines are zinc coated.
Yeah.
They're magic, dude. They just run forever.
Everything is like, it's like,
And they're beautiful.
they are like, you do have,
Awful.
it is, yeah, it's the same word on the car. Like, it's like, that's like saying, like, I have a camera too, and you pull out a cell phone, someone else's
Yeah.
Hasselblad. It's
Yeah.
like, eh,
He's like, mine's
yeah.
higher megapixel. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but this is a Hasselblad.
Look at
Yeah.
my cup holders, just fuck your ass.
It's like,
I bet his Volvo's got AC though.
and I'm sure he's gonna get stuck on the side of the freeway.
Yeah, barely ever probably.
And
So there's perks.
But I don't care about AC for the
Yeah.
record. But
You still got the thermostat problem from like a business video?
I do.
Tight.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while it overheats. Just gotta.
Let's go into that for a minute. So you've been doing this whole new kind of content for the last little bit here with these
Right.
Volvo videos.
Volvo.
How is that, man? It looks like a lot of work.
It kind of is a lot of work in a way.
They're pretty long.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like obviously you have to go out for a day
Yeah.
and actually shoot.
It's like a
content.
car podcast riding video.
Yeah,
Like,
see,
there's a lot
that
there.
was the thing. I was like, well, I honestly don't. It was like a long conversation one day at the ride office with like Fudger and Zach, and we were just like spitballing ideas, and it kind of just like evolved this idea. And I'm like, because basically, think about it, like typically when you go driving around to ride street, or if you're like being a photographer, you drive these people around to go shoot photos, and like you're talking the whole time you drive around. You know, granted, like typically the normal conversation would not be so in depth with like specific questions, but you do have conversations, you know, and then you get out and ride stuff, and you back up the car and go ride something else. And I'm like, well, that makes sense.
There's something there.
Yeah, you know. So instead of just like sitting in a room, not to, well, you know what I mean. Just
that's
talking.
what we're doing.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, bad choice of words. But you know what I mean, like
being a bunch of lames in a room.
Yeah, like, fucking room.
Well, also, but then you could like
it's a living room to be specific.
Yeah, you can work in some riding too, which is cool because then it breaks.
We're not going to be doing that here.
It breaks up like. It takes you away from like the conversation part for a little bit, and then.
I think they're awesome. I'm just saying, it looks like a lot of work.
I really like it.
It is a lot of work. And the Biz one was like the first one, and that one was the most work. Cause I mean, I've never used a GoPro before that day.
Initially, you overshoot everything, right? And then you have too much footage to edit, and it's
the Biz one
audio problems.
The Biz one was difficult because like the batteries are dying,
right?
And we actually had to go out twice.
Oh shit!
And make it look like the same day. Because the batteries are dying and shit was overheating. Because like it's like
don't tell Jim C that.
It's literally like the camera's like in the windshield and it literally overheated because the whole time the sun's just like beating down on it, you know.
Yeah.
So every little bit, it's just beeping. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know. I'm like, oh, the battery's dead. Oh, this happened. You know. And I'm like, so anyway, yeah, it was definitely like a learning. I'm actually kind of afraid to do another one because it's been a little while, and I'm like, oh man, like I feel like I had it down. I mean, I know I did 3 of them.
Yeah.
But by the time I did the one with denim, I felt like I've kind of went over most of the hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
So I had I had the checklist. Okay, check. I'm like, all right, I got everything. Everything's good. But now it's been a while. So.
That's how I am with the podcast, man. Every time I pull all this crap out off the desk again, and I'm like, I didn't really unset it up, so we're in the ballpark.
When you like gaffer tape everything.
Yeah. Words on it and all that. Yeah. Soon it'll all just be what do they call that? King rat or whatever? Rat king? It's where a whole bunch of rats that live in the sewer become one big super rat because all their fur dreads together, and it actually becomes one organism that's like 100 rats.
Holy shit.
That's what this little sound box will be here soon.
That's a New York City shit right there.
Yeah, we'll have a Rat King cast out here. So, you know, I have a timeline here, or not a timeline, but kind of a direction to go. But I just had a random thought that I never put in here that I feel like people are curious about this Ride BMX, Source BMX thing. Like, I don't even know what to ask. I don't really have any curiosity on it personally. I get it. You guys partnered with them. You have a ride shop now for the first time, but it's like kind of their shop, right?
Oh, it's totally their shop.
It's their shop. Okay, so right. So it's just like a deal to essentially push Source because they were trying to expand as a mail order, and then it gives you guys kind of a call to action, tie-in.
Well, yeah, it's like interesting times because it's like, I mean, Ride was always a magazine.
Right.
You know? Magazine, and then eventually we had the website, and for a couple years the website was just like a thing we had, but we didn't really use.
It's where you put the content after you make it.
Yeah, or like extra stuff. You know, it was like afterthought, you know. Eventually, obviously, you know, as time went on, websites became, then we went to that point where a lot of brands like, well, you know, we're not sure we might just put all of our resources online and just spend online and not even promote the magazine anymore. So then it was like,
I might have said that. I don't know. My bad if I did.
Oh, it's, you know, it's just nature of the beast. You know, it's just progress. It's not.
Yeah.
We totally get it. It's not. But like, so there was that phase where it's like, well, do we even invest in print or just go online? And eventually, then it became like, well, we put more effort into the site, you know, and then it's like people were like, well, which site did we go to, you know? And it's like, who, you know, where does it go?
Yeah.
And then eventually, magazine's gone, you know, fast forwarding, and then it's like, well, we have to just totally reinvent ourselves. Like, what is our business model now? What are we doing, you know? And that was just one idea that came to light, and it's like that was basically just. That was one idea that was like, hey, well, we're adapting. You know, it's like it totally. I don't know. Maybe it's been done in different industries. I don't know. You know, maybe it's like a common thing. I just know BMX stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I think all media companies have went through the same thing right now. You know, across the board, any that stuck around, they've changed the model and they become more like content producers. And you know.
Yeah, so that's really because it's like, you know, BMX brands, they make their own content now.
Right.
But it's like their content is being filtered out to like their own followers, but Ride's following is all BMX, so it's a much bigger audience still, you know. And it's like, so if brand X is like, well, we made this video, we put it on our YouTube, and it's on our website, but it's like, well, that's only people who like follow your brand are gonna see that video or buy into it.
Yeah.
But if it's on a Ride YouTube or as a part of Ride Media, it's like all the kids who ride BMX can see it.
Right,
you know?
right.
And they can make their choices then.
Yeah.
Well, I like this brand.
Yeah.
Or I kind of identify with that brand, you know, but it kind of like opens the playing field for all of them. I kind of went off top a little bit.
No, I got you. Yeah, it all ties together. That is just the way media companies have changed, right? That's like Rolling Stone, all of them, you know.
But basically with that, it's just like, obviously source, I mean, when you go there and see what they did, and they literally built a skate park underground in this like.
It looks insane.
It's incredible. It's seriously incredible.
They got a movement going on over there.
It is. I mean, I actually don't know who designed it and figured it all out, but it's like.
There's a movie about it.
It's like the eighth wonder. There is like the eighth wonder of the world. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like really.
There's only 7 wonders.
I think there's 7. I'm pretty
right.
sure.
We'll let the commenters decide on that one.
According to Barnum and Bailey.
I feel like there's a lot of wonderful things out there.
But for real, like to see what they did down there, it's pretty incredible. And then you think about it, like and they started out as just a normal bike shop, and then they grew and they got bigger, and then now it's like a full blown shop and this huge skate park, and they put on this incredible contest, and honestly, it's like, dude, I mean. Being linked with them, like I'm proud of it.
Yeah, no, it seems like a cool thing. Obviously, you guys have to have some sort of title sponsor, and it has to be somebody that can benefit from like direct sales and all that, so it can turn into something. Because it's not super tangible for one BMX brand to be like, let me just give you all the money, so all the other BMX brands seem smaller than me. It's kind of weird that way. You know what I mean? It's not super tangible. It looks weird. Although interestingly, back in the day, that was the model, right? Who bought the back cover? Really the back cover, right? I feel like Kink like had a decade of that, and you were like
Kink and Rockstar
still holding down that back cover, you know.
Well, the back cover thing with Ride
and the inside back cover, right? There's both of them.
Both of those were like obviously prime real estate.
Yeah. But
the way it worked was like
they were locked in long term, right?
Well, basically,
because I always wanted it.
The deal that Brad had with Kink was like, it's yours as long as you keep paying for it. Or like paying the rate or whatever up front or what, I forget.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics, but
don't let it lapse.
Yeah, it's yours. You know, you have it. Like, but yeah, obviously
because they supported when you guys were small.
Yeah, they did. They were there. Albies was the longest running advertisement ride, I believe. But Kink was like pretty close. Like I think it was Albies and Kink. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
As far as like it, or even not long. Yeah, as in like one long.
No gaps.
With no gaps.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure with Albies and Kink.
That's sick.
Like I think Keith Mulligan will probably know that because he's just like he knows all the facts.
Yeah. So this next one is a little bit deeper. We're changing course here a little bit, but back when you were in New Jersey, you started getting your photos published. All that was going on. How did you make the move to California from that point?
I got the job at Ride.
Oh really? So you didn't come out here chasing it. You got offered it back there.
It was at a point where I was shooting photos. I was pretty much submitting photos to Ride, Dig, Ride DK. I'd go out and model Duran or Edwin, you know, and I'd shoot X amount of photos. And I'm like, well, Ride just ran this photo Edwin last month, so they're probably not going to want to run another one right away. So I'll send this one to Dig, and I would try to just
that was the game back then.
Disperse them amongst the publications. And also, I figured it was just helping the riders get more coverage across the board.
The rider was thinking the same thing. They're like, well, I know I can't get 2 photos in Ride.
Well, actually, it's funny because I was getting a lot of stuff published in Dig, but none of the dudes couldn't get dig.
Right.
You know, like
it was rare in the U.S. back then.
Like anyone got a photo and ride, his mom or his friends or anyone.
Yeah, it was like 7-Eleven, everything.
They can go to Barnes and Noble and see the photo. But with dig, I would get like 2 copies.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, I want to keep these for myself, you know. And then, so it was difficult, and they couldn't like share with all their friends and everything. So then it was like a weird kind of pressure, like, there's so many photos to ride. We can all like see it. I want the girls in our school to see it. You know, they're all like, so I was like, all right, you know. But eventually, I think Jared Sowney was leaving Ride.
Okay.
So they had an opening. So yeah, they. I'm sure Glenn Milligan was really instrumental in helping me get that job.
Glenn got me my original connection with Low Tech and Tip Plus, where I'm still working today. Shout out to Glenn.
Yeah, shout out to Glenn.
He was really an OG plug for a lot of people. Glenn and Mark Losey, man, they both put me on.
When I moved to California, for the first month, I lived 1 block away from here with Glenn.
Yeah. You lived in okay. He was there first. Okay.
Yeah. So the funny thing with Glenn is that when he first moved to California, actually, dude, Glenn is the man. I don't know if people realize how much history we have together.
He's an OG. He's just done so much. Some people are like, I don't like him for this, and you're like, well, yeah, but he did 99 things. That's just one thing, man. Come on, judge the volume of the work.
And he speaks his mind.
Exactly.
You know?
And
like
he's a true East Coaster.
He is, you know, and I respect that. Like, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to ruffle any feathers or hurt anyone's feelings, whatever. But like he lives it out there.
He's not worried about it.
He wears his emotional, you know, whatever. Anyway, but when Glenn was moving to California, I was in the city one night on St. Mark's, and I ran into Glenn Superfly. They were getting pizza, and he's like, "Yo, we packed up the Cherokee. We're about to move out of there." And he was literally about to move. He was literally eating his last pizza and gonna drive.
Yeah, and he was plugged into bass heavy then, and
right,
that was his main thing. He was making all them sick bass videos.
It's just so weird that I saw him right before he's literally committing to leaving, to drive, and I saw him eating pizza randomly in the city. And then, you know, a year or 2 later, when I was going to do the move, I asked him, like, you know, I got the job, like, where should I move to? He's like, yo, the most East Coast feeling city anywhere near Ride, which was in Tustin at the time, is Long Beach. He's like, you got to move to Long Beach. And I'm like, all right, Long Beach it is. You know, I didn't even look anywhere else. I'm like, cool. Yeah. So I lived with him for a month, and then I got a spot in the same building as him. You know, so I lived like probably like across the hall or down the hall. You know, but
it was just paradise back then. The first time you came out here, man, I remember I was just blown away. Arteline and all those dudes lived here. They had the BMWs and.
Well, the first time I came to Long Beach was actually before I moved here. I came out. California, I used to do a lot of work for Kink. Yeah. And I came out and stayed with Jimmy Buckins and Ryan Scher for like 2 weeks in San Diego.
Way back.
And then we drove up to go to Agenda. Was it Agenda? It was Agenda in Long Beach. So we drove, and I remember when we first drove into Long Beach, we were driving down like literally right past where I live on the bluff. And I'm like, well, this space looks sick. Like, you know, you drive in along the bluff and one of these crazy mansions, and then the ocean. Yeah. And then you get a little further, and then you go into downtown. Like, this city is sick.
It's small but big, yeah.
But it's a city. Yep. You know, like we drove past all these houses, and now we're in a city.
Yeah. It's so all in the water.
Wow, this is pretty sick, you know. And then obviously, like, I mean, I grew up on Dirty Deeds was like my favorite video of all time.
That was the original high production street video.
And Dave Parrick.
And Rooftop's introduction.
Dave Parrick. You know, he lived in Long Beach, and then BMX Inferno, he filmed a lot of that with Castillo in Long Beach. Yeah. The Parrot benches. Oh yeah. All these spots were in Long Beach, like.
Dude, I remember the first time going to those Parrot benches. I was blown away.
I was like, and Dave Parrick still lived here. Right. So he was my boyhood idol. So Dave Parrick lived in Long Beach. I'm like,
I remember that. Yeah, I would see those guys at like Red Room and stuff, and I was
couldn't believe it. Like
starstruck.
And he was super cool. You know, like we would go riding once in a while and shoot photos and like. So yeah, that was just like Dave Parrick lived in Long Beach, moved to Long Beach. Like this is it. I made it. This is like the dream come true. Mm-hmm. You know, like I wish I rode more back then because like I went through a long stint where I was like really focused on shooting photos. I always rode, but I was always willing to like neglect riding to shoot photos.
Mm-hmm.
Like every weekend, I would just shoot photos. Like I would call people, like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Let's go shoot photos. And I would ride. I would always get on my bike and ride, but like I would even see something. I could do this. You know, like, I'm pretty sure I can do this, but I make excuses of, I haven't ridden that much, and like I've been carrying bag around, and like I feel like my riding definitely suffered for a couple of years. Actually,
Right.
probably for 10 years.
Yeah.
But my photography was like, I was excelling in that, and that's what I really wanted to do. I realized like, this is what I'm gonna make a career out of.
Same. I went through the same thing, man. Yeah. When I was doing the pro writing thing, if I would get a job doing video or graphic or something for somebody, I could feel it when I was doing it. And I was like, this is the future. You know, this is where I'm going. I like it. It feels right to me, you know, the whole thing. And then I would get worse at writing. If I was making a project, by the end of it, I was like, whoa, I need to get out there and write a little bit. This is getting embarrassing. But, I mean, best move ever, really, for me. Sounds like it was for you.
Oh, dude. I honestly, like, if you were asking me what was the best decision of my life, it was moving to California, because, like, that led to, well, I mean, I met my wife out here.
Right.
You know, I got married.
Yeah, you're established,
like, you know,
bro.
It's like our daughter was born in Long Beach, so it's like, moving to California is like, all of those things happened because of that. So it's like, yeah. But I feel like I've gone on a really long tangent, but
No.
I definitely like Glenn and Mark Lucy too, and Brad McDonald, really.
Yeah, all three of them, man. They paved the way for everybody.
Well, when I went for my job interview, I mostly spoke to Lucy because he was like the editor of Ride, but Brad was still there. He was a publisher. But yeah, I mean, and Lucy too. Like, he is instrumental. Like, he was like my California BMX industry dad. Like, I could ask him things.
Me too.
Like, he had no ego. I think a lot of people could say the same thing. Like, hear me say this, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Lucy is like that guy.
Anytime I see anybody that knows him from back in the day, and I'm like, I bet he put you on, huh? And they're like, yep.
He did so
every
many
time.
things for so many people. Him and Glenn.
Yeah.
You know, and in a really like selfless manner. They were never like, what are you gonna do for me now?
Yeah, no, they were doing it. They were just trying to make something cool, trying to create. You know.
I think if they saw something in you and they legitimately like appreciated you, they would go the extra mile to like see things work out for you.
Yeah.
You know, and like I try to do the same thing for people all the time.
Same. Yeah, you got to, man.
It's like
pay it forward.
It's how we make BMX better. Just help each other out, you know.
So what was your original job there when you got hired at that time? Just photographer?
Yeah, I was an associate editor, which technically to this day I still am. I didn't think my titles actually changed.
Okay. Well, my next question's a wash then.
But yeah, my main thing was shooting photos and writing stories, and just
brainstorming the content.
Yeah,
Jinx.
That's like what Los and I would do, and then Fudger came on a year after I started on Ride, and then did the same thing. Like he technically was hired to help push. At the time it was BMX Online. Yeah. But he was really just instrumental in the magazine. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I mean, honestly, I feel like the best content in Ride is all our collector's content.
He did a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
He is the best.
And he picked up the camera thing quick.
Dude.
You know, I mean, he was not a photographer at all when he started there.
He wasn't.
We were blown
he had
away.
a background in filming.
Yeah. Yeah, he was doing like a lot of San Diego video stuff.
Yeah, I remember him looking at like I'd come back from a trip and he'd look at my slides. He was like, "Oh, I really like want to shoot photos better." And he would like be acting kind of like silly about it, and then like, there's nothing he can't do.
Yeah.
He honestly
he's a workhorse.
He's the most talented person I know.
Yeah.
And hardworking. I don't even want like the hardworking part. It's like, I never feel like I'm doing enough.
Yeah.
When I'm working around him, I'm like, dude, you make me. I feel like I don't do anything. But anyway, yeah, his photos, like, he caught on quick, and now with filming, it's like the same thing. And when he write an article, I'm reading his words, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
That's good.
How much wine do you have to drink to write this?
Right. You know? Yeah. Speaking of, do you got any more wine over there?
It's empty.
We're out. All right.
But
party time.
If you wanna.
Oh, you gonna give me a little bit of yours? Oh, I'll take it.
I actually need some water. I'm parched.
I got you. I'll be right back.
I brought some.
Oh, you got some?
It's right there in that thing with the pistol.
Be right back. Try not to break anything.
Oh, thank you.
Quick intermission. Don't talk about me while I'm gone.
Drink water.
Fuck Rich. Yeah, drink water.
We're back.
I got Rich a hydro flask. I've only seen him use it once.
I use it every day, bro. It's probably my most prized possession, honestly. I'm so hyped on it.
I got a yellow one tonight.
Drink
I saw that.
4 or 5 of these every day. Not when it's hot out. When it's hot out, drink more.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
I have that like 64 ounce one. I try to do 2 of those a day.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, drinking water, I can't. I feel like that's, if people were to ask, like, what's one thing Jeff says to you the most, besides maybe, like, stretch more?
Yoga.
Drink water.
If your back hurts and you ride BMX, do some yoga. Seriously.
And drink water.
And drink water. For me and Jeff, life-changing. Like, we would not be doing it still if that wasn't on the daily routine.
Yoga and water, secrets of longevity.
Yep, get that, y'all. So, sidetracking just a tiny bit, but it's something interesting I don't think a lot of people think about, but, you see all these pro riders, and they're traveling the world, and they're doing, pretty extravagant things at times, but you've been there for all of it the entire time. You've been on every trip. You've been to every country. You've been right there with Garrett Reynolds and whoever it was, countless times. What is the most interesting place that you ever traveled to?
Oh, man, that's a hard one. Most interesting?
Yeah. The coolest, your favorite.
My favorite.
Was that abrasive? Sorry.
No. Shit, I don't know. That's hard.
Phil, where's the coolest place you've been while Jeff's thinking?
Yeah,
Tustin.
Oh, okay. That's close to Andy's Garden Grove. You're stepping into territory.
Coolest place I've ever been. It's hard to answer.
Yeah.
Because like everywhere has like its own cool thing.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
It's easy to ask though.
Yeah.
I did it twice.
I went to Germany when I was younger.
Germany might be the coolest place
crazy
I've been.
sick. Yeah. And everyone was really nice.
Mm-hmm. And it was just like a perfect society.
Yeah. You'd see somebody litter and somebody would and just pick it up.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be like a single piece of trash anywhere. Maybe now it's different, but
Yeah, I'm sure they got a couple, but not that many. What do you got, Jeff?
Yeah.
Greatest place of all time.
Answer now.
Long Beach?
Okay, most interesting. Well, interesting is a hard one. Japan keeps on jumping out at me.
Okay, I haven't been there yet. I'm going next year for a Primo video. Pretty excited.
Yeah, Japan was definitely like you said, like litter-wise, they don't have any trash cans.
That's how Taiwan was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
They
don't even put them.
They put things in their pocket.
They put it in their pocket and they wait till they're home.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
Insanity.
And then and which is weird for us because obviously like you go to like a ledge spot and we're there like all day because everyone's got to get their line and multiple trips to the store has our snacks, water bottles, and it's like a whole trash bag full of stuff. Yeah, of course, yeah. So you can drink in public out there,
right?
So. Yeah, there's a lot of trash, and everyone. But thankfully, everyone actually realizes like, wait a minute, like they get it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there's no trash. Like we can't litter. Like we'd be scumbags if you throw in our trash, or we'd be, so
those Americans.
Actual pride for something you should have pride for.
And I'm actually like, I'm like glad that everyone else is thinking the same thing. Sometimes you aren't like that. You're like, am I the only one who's seeing this clear right now? Everyone else is just gonna do this. But they all get it. But yeah, Japan was definitely very interesting.
Were you there like not that long ago?
It was a while ago. I went there twice relatively recently. Well, not recently, but like back to back. But it's been a while now. It was a Vans trip. I think the last one was it was a Vans trip.
That's cool. Japan it is. I'm excited to go, man.
Yeah, it's definitely
something interesting.
Probably the Taiwan trip you're thinking.
Oh, you went on the GT one.
Yeah, that was an incredible trip.
Taiwan is amazing.
Yeah, it was. For some reason, I feel like Japan to me is more interesting because Taiwan is technically part of China.
Yeah.
So.
Taiwan is actually colonized by Japan. That's why it's so similar to Japan.
Exactly. It definitely feels way more like Japan than China.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like a little mini Japan.
It feels much more democratic than communist.
Yeah. Yeah, China's raw.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe.
Raw.
And then Hong Kong is like a whole other thing where it's like this weird New York City.
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, so it's not actually China. It gets to be its like own place or whatever, And so you go there and it's like European, like tiny little beautifully built neighborhoods and a lot of European people that's parents like, I don't know, impregnated a Hong Kong lady. I don't really know how these white people got there, but one way or another, there's a lot of European white people there, and like the average rent was like $2 million. I'm exaggerating, of course, but It was more expensive than New York City, more
Really?
crammed together,
Wow.
and in the middle of China. You know,
Yeah.
so you're like not expecting that because it's a little different when you get to the other places. It's raw. But shout out to China, I love it. I'm not hating on it. But here's one for you that I thought up earlier. I was pretty proud of myself for. What is the value of a photo today versus 10 years ago?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I guess it depends on who you're asking. But
Say you had to sell it to Vans.
if it was a financial thing, if it's a brand, especially someone like Vans, like they're using your photo to sell products.
Mhm.
So it's like this is the visual cue to sell products.
Yeah.
You know, and they're probably going to sell a lot of products. You know,
Chances are high.
so it's still very valuable.
Yeah.
Same as it was 10 years ago.
Same price.
If not more. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So-
I would say more now.
It's higher now, so it's
Yeah.
inflated as it should have.
well,
It's adjusted.
because I feel more confident as a photographer than
Oh,
10
right,
years
of
ago,
course.
maybe. You know, I feel like established enough to where I'm like, well, even 10 years ago, that I feel like a lot of photographers, there might have been like a gray area where like, how much should I charge for this?
Yeah.
Like, and they don't even know who to ask, or they feel weird asking somebody
Mhm.
else, you know, or. But then again, who knows? I might, if I were to talk to like someone like Mark Pelosi or Keith Mulligan and be like, how much were you charging you guys for a photo 10 years ago? And I'd be like, oh, this much. And I'm like, oh, shit. I charge that much now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm working my way there. 10 years.
But then there's another thing too. I've learned like over the years, and even like not for myself personally, but even hearing brands talk about things with other photographers, and they're like, oh, so and so charges this much money for a photo. I'm never gonna buy a photo of him again. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, so if I charge a little less,
Yep.
but then I get a return business in the long run, it's better for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
Yeah. So it's definitely because like.
I've paid people those prices and I have not bought again. I'm
And
with you.
literally the words you just said, I've heard other brands say.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, okay, so it's like
When a dude's like, hey man, I need $1,000 for this photo.
that's insane.
And you're like, oh man, but it is a Hoder 3ing over that kinked, like curved. This is a moment. Like I have to own this.
That's insane.
And they're just, you know, they know what they're doing. They're like, he has to buy it. Let's just say
I
$1,000.
would never even roll somewhere cold in that though. That's
The
just
thing
like,
about it is it's always people that don't do much work.
that's a career ender as a
You know,
photographer.
it's a guy who might have a photo or two a year. Like it's always that guy.
that they're obviously very short sighted.
Yeah.
Because they basically you made $1,000.
Or they know they only want to work once a year, and they're like,
And then
let's
but
get it.
but you have to put things in perspective. It's like this is just BMX still. It's not
Yeah.
skateboarding. It's not. I don't know, basketball or NASCAR.
And even all
other
those are still
industries.
pretty similar, unless you caught the random ESPN check like you can in BMX, right?
But
Like
like,
it's
the other industries though that do have, you
Yeah.
know,
just much more money.
if you think about it comparatively, like BMX, like the best dudes, like Dennis Anderson and Gat Reynolds aren't like millionaires.
No, they're just doing all right. Yeah.
Dudes who warm the bench in like
Yeah.
NBA are swimming in money.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
They're swimming in pools too. Yeah, they're doing good.
And it's like granted, more people play basketball and ride BMX bikes. You know, it's like
I've
there's
heard
just more money. You know, so it makes sense. You know, you look at it that way. But same with photos. You know, it's like it's like you can sell. Granted, Vans is like a different example because Vans isn't a BMX brand. They're obviously in BMX, but it's a giant shoe company and other. You know, but it's like if you're dealing with this BMX specific brand that is only in BMX, like Animal.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever.
The photo's free now.
It's like
shout out to Animal. That's not hate. I mean,
a brand that's
speaking
like
the truth.
that's specifically or Colt or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Or me.
yeah, exactly.
You gave me some photos the other day. They were awesome.
You know, it's like those brands are only dealing in strictly BMX numbers, whereas like Vans or Red Bull or Monster, like they support BMX, but they aren't a BMX company. You know?
Yeah.
So they're a bigger company, they're making more money, they're doing more with your photos. So you have to charge them more.
Yeah, it's fair, right? You're like, look, you're going to shoot a picture of this thing, and tomorrow you're going to make $12 million, and it's not a big deal to give me $700.
Well, fortunately, it's easy to do with brands like that because they usually, when they discuss things with you, they come at you with like a rate or a deal.
Right.
And you're
They have something established.
And usually with brands like that, at least from and actually, shout out to Justin Cosman because he's been giving me a lot of work for Vans lately.
Yeah, he's the plug over there, huh?
Yeah, well, he
does a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, well, he's doing a lot of stuff with video lately.
Right.
You know, he's like Vans photographer. Him and Kamake. But in California, like Justin does a lot of video stuff with them, but they need stills, and then he's been hitting me up for that, which I'm so thankful.
That's awesome.
I'm hyped to be. I mean, he's an incredible photographer, and he just does all different types of things.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely. Like,
is he switched over to primary video now?
No, he does a lot of things for Vans. He does a lot of video stuff, but he Colt did that stuff in Hawaii recently, and he shot a lot of those photos.
Did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know he did it until I figured Adam went there and did some stuff.
Yeah.
More like the point and shoot raw stuff. But then on Justin's Instagram, I saw a couple of photos, like this one.
They were that
full
style.
Pipe of his reflection in the water.
Oh, that one's really good.
Yeah. And then,
that one caught my eye.
He did like a bunch of product photos in the studio and stuff. But
cool. He's all over.
Yeah. He hustles.
Yeah. He's a good dude. I remember when he first moved out here and.
Yeah.
You know, he was eager for the work, and he'd show up at the spots, and he's always a good time.
Well, that's the thing. Like some people get it. Like, all right, I gotta start at the bottom, work my way to the top.
Yeah.
And he did that.
Yeah.
He became like the dude at Vans and at Red Bull.
Yeah.
He actually went to Austria and like interned, and he.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's done a lot of really cool stuff. Like,
So on that note, we're kind of telling a whole interesting story here, in my opinion, about how a kid from New Jersey became a professional photographer. If you had to give anybody a piece of advice of how to become a photographer in this industry, because I know a lot of people are like, "There's no money in BMX and all that," but that's not true. If you actually seek out a way you can fit in and be a valuable piece of somebody's puzzle, people are always looking for that, But sorry, I'm actually sidetracking the answer. I want to know from you.
Fine. Well, you mean
you're talking about Cosman. I'm like, we're kind of on that note.
You mean the BMX, like specifically?
If somebody's like, "Yeah, I want to move to California. I'm a photographer. I want to be Jeff Z someday,"
Yeah, BMX specifically is definitely harder than.
But it's
was.
not BMX specific, right? Like there's still the random things.
Okay, so that's with you saying that, I definitely tell people all the time. Well, not all the time, but I definitely talk to people who like want to move to California, and I'm like, oh yeah, like without a doubt, there's more opportunities in California than.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, maybe if you live in New York City, you'll equal opportunities. But then again, even in New York City, like half the year, but a third of the year, you can't do anything outside.
Yeah, and nobody can afford to live there.
Well, California's right behind there.
True.
But if you move to California and you get involved in the industry, you're definitely going to get opportunities you won't get anywhere else in the States. Like it costs more to live here, but things happen.
Yeah.
Like that don't happen anywhere else. Because
So are you telling people to move here? Is that what I'm hearing?
like life never slows down in California.
Yeah.
I mean, in the winter it's like 65, 70 degrees every day. You know, so like all year, it keeps on going.
Yeah.
And that's why like the entertainment industry and everything is here. It's like the weather is predictable. Like things happen. So even if like moved out here to shoot BMX photos, you could shoot BMX photos. Even if you don't make a living doing that, like you'll probably find it in somewhere, as long as you are willing to work hard and like take pride in your work and actually are willing, like even now today, like although I do BMX photos for a living and I work at Ride, I'll shoot anything that comes my way.
Right.
Like Glenn gets me jobs.
Be flexible.
Yeah, I mean weddings. I'll do whatever I can on the side. If it's shooting photos in this day and age, I'm like, well, I'm shooting photos, so I like doing that. I'm gonna get paid. I have a free day. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable. That actually like leads right into my next question here.
But that also makes you a better photographer too.
Yeah.
Because it's like 10 years ago, or if you ask me if I shoot weddings, I'd probably be like, oh, dude, I don't have enough to do that. It's like, and it's like, yeah, it's not as rewarding as shooting bike photos.
Yeah.
It's not something that I'm like passionate about per se, but at the end of the day, I'm like, well, or I have to go film something. I'm like, I'd probably rather go shoot photos at a wedding than have to go film stuff. Like, I really like shooting photos.
Yeah.
And you can still find a way to do it to where you're still satisfied with the photos. You look at it like, oh, well, it's like, these are wedding photos, but like, this photo's pretty sick. You know, I really like the composition. I'm actually pretty psyched. And I figured out this angle, and it's like,
yeah. It's still the same thing. It's just how you choose to think about it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You take your skill set that you've gained shooting bike photos, and you apply it to other things. You know, and you think about it, it's like.
I like that.
So it's like, okay, you have to time something. It might be a banger. You got one chance to get it. Security's coming or not, but obviously, okay. Look at the scenario. You're trespassing. No matter what, you're riding street, you're trespassing. If he's going to grind something, he's vandalizing the thing.
Yeah.
You know, he could get seriously hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, so you have all those factors, and then you have to like make sure it's in focus. You have to time it. You have to make sure the lighting is right, and then you also have to be happy with like the way the shadows look and everything else.
And we're talking digital. Don't even get me started on pre-digital.
If you want to bust the hotspot and you have to focus.
Yeah.
And
Good luck.
It's like, and then drive home and think about if you got it or not.
Yeah.
You know, and then wait until the next. You know, if you can deal with all that shit, then shooting anything else.
You can do anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really can. At least, yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah.
You know, granted, like you can't just walk into a studio and think you're just gonna kill it, because it's a whole different thing. Like lighting someone's face and doing all those other things, or working with somebody to like get the emotion for a studio photo. That's a whole different thing. But it shouldn't be as stressful.
Yeah, you're getting there. You're making a start. Yeah, that's what I always tell people, man. Everybody's like, how can I get into BMX and all that? But it's just a stepping stone. You know, you're going to do more. But the things you learn through the riding and everything, the way you learn to overcome things, like, you can use that in anything. You
Absolutely,
know? Like people should have, like I encourage anybody listening to this, like next time you go to a job interview, approach that like a handrail. Like just walk in there, dude, ask to be the manager. Like just, why not, man? Give it a shot. Only the dude that tries to go down the rail ever pulls the rail.
Dude,
like,
I've said that so many times.
Like, just go for it,
I'm
bro.
like, dude, I remember talking to people, like...
That's what LA is, right?
Being at a bar, and some dude's, like, scared to talk to a girl. I'm like, you did like, a 20-stair rail today.
Yeah.
You go talk to that girl.
You'll be all right.
She says, no, it's not going to hurt you. You fucked up that rail. Like, I'm like, come on, dude, think about what you just did today. You can't just go say hi.
Yeah.
You know, like, your fear of rejection is worse than missing a 20-stair rail. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta figure that shit out.
That's all like perspective, you know, like just yeah. Long story short, it's kind of the same thing with.
It is, man. People just need to go for it. You know, you want to be a BMX photographer, you can be that, but it might mean you also work at Hollywood Video or
so
whatever.
So that's basically it. Long story short, like anyone can be a BMX photographer. I mean, you can shoot photos of your friends, or you could. But obviously, moving to California and just trying to break into the industry cold turkey, it helps to like, if you have friends in your local scene who are good, or, you know,
work with them.
Yeah, if they have like, if they're getting flow or from a bike shop or like brands or anything, like, you know, send the photos to the brands.
Yeah.
You know, they may or may not pay you.
That's how it works every time, right?
If it's a flow rider, a brand's not going to pay you for the photo because like they don't.
But you're in the door.
Yeah, they might give you some free parts or something.
Exactly.
You know?
You can't ask for no money at first because
exactly.
you're learning. You know.
Well, yeah, that too. Even if the photo's great, if it's like a flow rider, the brand doesn't really need that photo that much, and they can't do that much with it because they're not going to take a flow rider photo and try to push their products.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, well, who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so you have to like understand that dynamic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but once you figure that out, but it's you have to start somewhere. Like I said, when I first started shooting photos for like Base and FBM, like they didn't pay me. I didn't even expect to get paid. You know, like I got some FBM T-shirts. Base I got a Base.
Good T-shirts. Good T-shirts.
You know, and it was like that was good enough. And then Steve Crandall laid out the box for Don't Create a Job.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
We drove up to Ithaca, and that's when I first met Ryan Corey, and he was like sleeping in a car in Crandall's driveway.
Lou Bickle bit my foot in that house.
You're lucky you didn't think your foot was a light bulb.
He bit the shit out of it with a shoe on, and it hurt. So on that note, I feel like this really ties into that because you and your wife started a wedding photographer company, kind of, right?
I wouldn't say it was a company, but
It's a project, maybe?
it's like, I mean, really, it's really just Instagram with a name attached to it. I guess.
That's a brand these days.
Well, I mean, when I do weddings, like I prefer to have her with me.
Yeah.
Because she's like my assistant. She doesn't actually help shooting the photos, but she's really good at. Because we think about when you're shooting photos, you're looking through the camera, and you're thinking about the composition and the lighting, and you're especially at a wedding.
Yeah.
Everything happens so fast, and you're trying to set up lights, and just like you're thinking about the technical aspects, whereas especially being like a woman too, she's looking at like the bride's like dress and
how she feels, if she looks right.
Things,
yeah.
You know, like little
very
nuances
important things.
that a guy isn't gonna notice.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, you know, she'll like step in, she'll like fix your hair, like the little things, so like they go a long way. Something I would have noticed, and the photos come back, and like their bride are probably like, oh, yeah, these photos look great. Like,
yeah,
it looks really nice.
The bride has to look beautiful.
Yeah.
And she knows if the girl's gonna feel beautiful by the end. She's like, you ain't gonna like this girl.
Yeah. Like, she could definitely help like with the poses and things like that, you know. And so yeah, whenever I can, I have her help me. I mean, it's been a while since we've done a wedding, but for a while that we were on a tear and we were doing a lot of them. But it's also,
does it pay pretty good in this?
To be honest with you, most of the weddings we've done have been like BMX friends.
Yeah.
So it's been like
shout out to me. Jeff shot my wedding. The photos are amazing.
Thank you. But we have done like a handful that were like technically strangers.
Yeah.
You know, like people,
not people that ride for me, actual people you don't know.
But yeah, wedding season's kind of a hard time too. Well, in California, it's wedding season year round, really.
Yeah.
But it was always tricky because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna book this wedding, hope no BMX trips come up.
Right. And you're always traveling.
Yeah, because like through everything I do, like my ride job is my priority, and I've always been committed to like not neglecting that. You know, there's definitely been times where, and Fudger gets it too. Fudger's like, yeah, you know, we've been at this for so long, and a lot of people BMX probably don't get paid as well as they should for how hard they work, for how long they've been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He gets it, you know, and it's like we both do what we can to like, you know,
to be able to keep doing it.
Yeah, to bring in extra side work, you know, and it's like, and we're like, I mean, I don't know how to put it without sounding like cocky, but we're like at the top of our game. What we do,
I agree.
BMX,
yeah,
you know?
no, you guys are skilled at your craft.
But it's like, end of the day, like if the top dudes, well, and a lot of pro bike riders are working jobs, you know, and it's like they're a professional bike rider. They have to work an actual job, and even if they didn't, if they chose not. A lot of dudes don't are still like just barely scraping by. Yeah. But that's just the nature of BMX. You know, there's not a lot of money. Isn't really free flowing in what we do. You know, it is what it is. You know, we've all learned how to like.
The industries we're talking about rely on outside money, and that's the key. Is the outside money? It comes and goes in BMX. You know, it's completely random, right? I mean, one year Butterfinger's giving you guys $100,000, and the next year they moved on, and you're. What do you do?
And when you do have those random like, really big winning like windfalls of support, like you have to tell yourself right away, like this is not going to last.
Yeah.
You know, if you get some really crazy client that pays you for a year or two to do some side work, like you can't rely on that forever. Mm-hmm. You have to tell yourself like this brand is like tipping their toe in the water, taking it out of the scene for a minute, and then they're probably gonna move on.
They'll get a new marketing director in 3 years, and it'll do whatever he likes.
Like, whether it's like Levi's or Butterfinger or whatever, you know. Like, but you have to be grateful when it happens and take it for what it is, and then you know, just don't go out and buy an Audi or something. Just you know, just try to save the money.
Yeah, buy a Volvo.
Yeah, buy a Volvo.
Like $2,000, you can get a fire Volvo, $2,000.
Yeah, literally a fire Volvo. I've been there. It's happened to me.
Yeah, one that will light on fire. $3,000 and you're good.
Yeah.
But $2,000, you know, it'll be all right still.
And that's funny because that Volvo was the nicest one I ever owned.
Yeah.
It was like beautiful when I got it. But yeah, you know.
That ain't right, bro. So I know you're saying you shoot all kinds of different stuff, and I guess I'm kind of segueing here into now you're actually shooting baby's clothes, right? You shoot all this stuff for Tamara's thing, right?
Well, Tamara stuff, yeah, but Tamara stuff's different. Like, I mean,
It's baby fashion, toddler fashion.
Well, I mean, Tamara, she has her own clothing line.
Yeah.
Now, it's.
So Jeff's wife makes custom high fashion toddler clothes. That's what we're talking about here, and that's a bit of a plot twist in the photo journey there.
Yeah, Crayon Fawn is her brand, and But even before she was doing the baby clothes, like, she used to flip vintage clothes.
Right. Okay.
And like Tara would go to like estate sales and things like that, and she has a background in like fashion design.
Mm-hmm.
So she just knows, like, she can go somewhere and
she's got the eye.
She can pick out things, and she has incredible taste.
Right.
Like in clothing and
I agree.
And fashion and in general. But she knows, she can tell you what anything is made out of, like what kind of material it is and why they used it. Like, she actually knows, like, the science behind, like, well, why would this be made of polyester? And like, it's crazy because
it's supposed to breathe in the summer.
Yeah, but whatever.
I made that up. I don't know.
Yeah, but she knows,
It's supposed to light on fire on the dance floor.
But she's making like children's clothes now, so I shoot those for her.
Yeah.
And then,
how's that going for you guys?
Pretty good. It's a weird thing because
tough market, right?
Well, her clothes are incredible. Like, she makes them by hand.
But that's what I mean. Handmade clothes.
It's small numbers. She makes like a size run, but it's only a couple pieces for each size.
Yeah.
And they're way more fashionable than a lot of the cookie cutter stuff that other brands make. And I feel like if she actually sold it for what it's worth, it would be really expensive.
Right.
Like
anything handmade, yeah.
I feel like it would have to be like celebrities buying it.
Yeah. Well, they got babies too.
They do.
Yeah. She's not making that many pieces. There's a lot of celebrities.
Yeah, but it's
Kardashians alone.
Yeah, honestly, like, and it's like, it's one of those hard things. It's like the amount of time she makes all of the what do you call it? What is it? Oh man, I'm forgetting terms right now. It's not like she's taking like something out of a catalog.
Yeah, it's her own pattern.
Yeah, it's her own pattern.
Yeah, and a pattern development's a serious thing in
develops
fashion.
the patterns. She goes out and finds the fabrics. She actually finds all these like unique fabrics from like India that are like, and even the fabrics are hand printed in India.
Right.
So it's like nothing's the same. So if you have a couple of them, you can't find it again.
Yeah.
They're super unique. So it's like a handful of kids have these dresses, and that's it.
Yeah.
You can't like go out and like recreate that. And there is a price you should put on that, and for the craftsmanship and everything.
I bet those are going to be sick vintage clothes in like 100 years, right?
But yeah, so shout out to Tamara. Like,
yeah, she's killing it.
And I really do. I feel like it's worth way more than what she can probably. And you're being realistic, She's like, well,
I can't charge $500 for a T-shirt.
What it's worth. Because this is like the clientele.
Yeah.
And I get it, So
I'm sure there's an angle on that
it's a hard hustle,
reveal itself.
But she has the talent, so I feel like one day she's gonna get rewarded for it, like how she deserves to be rewarded.
That's what I'm saying. The door will open. I have this theory. I'm sure I heard it somewhere else, but it was luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Okay.
And any time I've ever gotten lucky or anything good's ever happened to me, that's all it was I was sitting at home doing the thing, and then the one day I met Mark Losi, he whipped the camera out, or you know what I mean? It was just you were ready when the moment happened. And,
right.
And she's there, right? She's killing it. She's hand cutting patterns. When the door opens, she'll be ready. She'll have the skill. You know what I mean? So I'm sure something cool will come from that. But this one kind of this is more on a riding tip here. I really relate to your style of riding, the way you like riding. I love really just riding through alleys, riding things that aren't supposed to be ridden.
Yeah.
I guess that's all street. But like we talked about, homeless videos, to put it simply, animal videos, grizzle, doorstep. You know what I mean? Literally just riding tiny spots and finding cool ways to ride them. But what I want to talk to you about was the importance of the pursuit of less in bike riding. Like all of my favorite riders of all time, I'm going to assume your favorite riders, I feel like they had an essential style where they pursued less. They didn't do every trick. They didn't hit every spot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. So, like, I think nowadays.
It's rare nowadays.
Okay,
huh?
so let's say someone's like, oh, I wanna grind this thing, and it's like it's not just like a ledge off stairs.
Yeah.
It's like I can't. It's like some thing you would never at first you think to grind. It's like, oh well, so your back wheel is gonna be on this box, and your front peg is gonna be on this like thing.
That's a very Jeff kind of grind he's
and
describing.
It's like that right there. That's the trick.
Yeah.
Just do that grind, and you did your trick.
Right. The spot dictated it.
But then they do the grind. And they're like, oh no, it's pretty easy. I could bar out. No. Like, don't bar out. You don't need to.
Amen.
You just like that. You basically just said like the grind isn't a trick anymore. Or it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Because it was just a Smith grind.
Yeah.
You know, you did a Smith grind. It's a basic trick. You learned it when you were 15 or 14.
Yeah.
But you did a Smith grind on this weird ass thing you can't even describe.
Yeah.
That's
and you
the trick.
thought of the way to use it. That was the trick.
And that's the trick.
Your brain.
But then when you decide to bar out, it's like, okay, so now if I shoot a photo, do I do a sequence? Do I shoot the Smith grind or shoot a bar spin?
Yeah.
And it's like, you ruined it.
Yeah.
You know?
You ruined it, bud.
It's like...
Get a clue.
Right there, it's like...
I'm just a kid. I'm not trying to hate. But
yeah,
seriously,
yeah.
There's nothing worse than when, like, the coolest rail you've ever seen, you know, it's like... It's rainbowing a little bit. It's a good paint color. You know, for me, a spot aesthetic is as cool as the spot. Like if it's just a red ledge that's bright red, I'm like, oh, let's go grind this ledge because it's red. But it's sad when somebody then throws the bar off the red ledge every time. You're like, now the grind isn't good enough. When you were just grinding it, I was loving it, and now I feel like the grind wasn't important.
And see, and I've been thinking about this situation. It's been happening to me for years, and I wonder, I'm like, okay, well, my perspective, because I don't do bar spins.
Yeah.
You know, I never even...
There's some bias in there.
You know, and I'm like, so it's like, am I looking at it as a guy who just can't do a bar spin and doesn't really care about doing a bar spin?
I am.
Or am I, you know, because obviously this dude can do bar spins with his eyes closed, you know, and he's way more advanced than I am with just tricks.
Yeah.
You know? So he obviously could probably do even more. He probably manual did a weird Smith grind bar spin, you know, and it's like
on the front wheel.
And yeah, and then so it's like there's a whole school of thought. Well, there's like these dudes, you know, like my train of thought is like I look for things that it's my riding is like interpretive street riding. It's all about applying my very small number of tricks to things.
Yeah.
And that's all I got. You know what I mean? Like, end of the day, I have a handful of tricks. Who knows? If I could do a ton of tricks, like, I might not ride the way I do. I don't really know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I would love to have, like, a handful more tricks.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I might be, you know, bar spinning to manual to grind. You know, I might be doing the same thing other guys do that I don't do.
But I think the people that me and you look up to were able to do the tricks, and they limited them. You know what I mean? The guys that we really, you know what I'm saying? Not to an extent because they were still progressing in many cases, but
I don't know because like when I watched Dirty Deeds, my favorite rider was Dave Parrick.
Yeah. And
clearly, Rooftop had the best part in that video. You know, I mean,
it was epic, but the Parrot part was very important.
And for me, the Parrot part
and the Castillo part.
Well, Castillo's part in Dirty Deeds is really short.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry, that's BMX.
He did ride to a Sound of Youth song.
Yeah.
In the beginning, but
a really good one.
But the Parrot part to me, it really was just the way he looked on his bike.
The speed, the whole deal.
And he, you know. I mean, the Parrot part to me, that was like the first time in the video where I was like, this is the guy I want to ride like.
Right.
You know, like, that was the first video part where I was legitimately like, whoa.
Yeah.
I want to be a copycat and be like this guy. Exactly. You know, like Rooftop, obviously, in that video part, Rooftop was clearly better than Dave Parrick.
Yeah.
And I knew it. I'm like, of course I want to be like Rooftop too. But
the crazy guys never copied him.
Well, the thing about Rooftop to me, this is probably more what it was. I knew I could never be as good as that guy.
That's what I mean. It's not attainable. Yeah,
He was like, he was like 16. He was like
stalling 8-foot fences out of ditches, dude.
Insanely good. I mean, that video part.
He was like a little kid. It was amazing.
I mean, legitimately,
and the song, dude. Oh
that
my
was
God.
one of the best few parts of all time. Still.
Yep.
I mean, it was incredible.
Yep.
So to me, like, I'm like, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Dave Cragg is more like obtainable.
Yeah.
You know, so I probably just identified more with him as being like, and he made the video. So I'm like, all right, that's more my speed. You know?
Phil, what are your thoughts on Dirty Deeds? Did you go that far back?
I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Have you never seen Homeless Trash then?
No.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna get you a copy of
Please
Homeless Trash will change your life.
Yeah.
Like it's the foundation for everything that's good in BMX.
Homeless Trash was definitely the first progressive. I mean, I say this, but then obviously other people will be like, no. It was almost like it was the first like progressive leap forward in street riding.
They invented real street riding.
Well, and there was an added
Like
ride
they
somewhere.
invented riding street like a skateboard.
There was a thing. There was somewhere mention of Homeless Trash, and it was like a video about handrails. I don't know if it was in an ad or like a review about it, and it was.
Yeah.
Everyone's part, they did rails. At least dope pegging. But even back then, dope pegging. Like,
somebody at least ice picked a little one or whatever.
Oh well, the first up rail was in that video.
Yep. Kevin Gutierrez, bro.
No.
It wasn't.
No, it was
Soltemeyer or
Lee Soltemeyer.
There we
They pegged
go.
the rail
Yeah.
up like a 2-stair next to a
Yeah.
wall. But it was the first
that part's epic.
up rail, and he ice picked like, he didn't ice pick huge rails, but he ice picked super long.
Yep. He did a gap to rail. Or no, that was the Goot that did the gap to rail.
The Goot like hopped on a
He did
rail.
a pedal kick gap to rail.
He did a pedal kick gap off this 90 degrees.
Yeah, it was a mess, dude.
He hopped on a rail from flat and like stalled it and like turned.
Oh yeah, he
sideways.
double tired up rail.
He did a rail.
Technically,
He did a rail and turned down.
Yep.
But yeah, made that video.
So
they
good.
were
Man.
riding,
Peric's
like,
part again. You know.
A lot of Gutierrez's clips were
And the
like
music,
not even
dude.
on a stand. They weren't even on a homeless. They were on like a Haro.
They weren't even a real company. That's why it was
They
so
weren't
sick.
even riding homeless bikes and all that footage. Like
It was just a movement.
the bikes were super fucking janky.
Yeah, I never even liked the bikes. I bought a homeless and I was like, it had like a 17-inch back end, bro. It
They were
was
really long.
impossible to ride, but I was so happy to have that homeless Mac.
I actually never had a homeless. I wanted one.
They were cheap too.
I wanted one really bad,
Yeah.
but I never had one.
I think I ordered one from Trend back in the day, dude, and I was just
I think I tried to get one
like a
from
pig in
Trent.
shit.
But yeah, I mean, legitimately, that video was like, it was long, a ton of slow mo.
Oh, but
But-
it's so good.
No, it was really good.
The slow mo is needed.
It was really good.
With that music, dude. Oh,
It was way. ahead
y'all
of
need
its
to
time.
watch Homeless Trash.
But at the time, I didn't know it was ahead of its time because I was just starting to really start riding. So
Yeah.
that was like what we were presented with. We're like, oh, so this is what people were doing.
Yeah.
You know, like. And that's why we were doing all these no footers out of grinds.
Yeah.
With Dirty Deeds, like Heath Trainer does a lot of like.
He was a major no footer out of everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like no one did crank flips.
Yeah.
You do
That would have been
ice-
cool.
You do ice pick stall, you just do a no footer.
Yeah. Tizio really introduced the crank flip out of that on
Yeah,
the bar, I feel like.
He did crank flips. Like
Yeah.
I was all about the no footers.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, at that time, and even Castillo, he just in BMX Inferno.
I could use seeing a nice feeble grind and no footer, dude.
Castillo
I'm craving that.
Smith grinds and no footer.
Oh, at the
in
Peric
Long
ledges.
Beach.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't It wasn't Parabench. It was in downtown Long Beach.
Okay.
The benches they changed them. They put like bricks on top of them, but it was like right on Ocean, Alamitos. There's like a bank, and now there's like a Medi Center.
Mhm.
You know, like one of those urgent centers.
Oh yeah, I know the
urgent
ones you're
care.
talking about. Yeah, they put corners on it.
They put like brown bricks
Yep.
on top. He does like, because like he does like legitimately like the first long ice pick grinds. Because eventually his ice pick grinds changed, and he would go really fast. He wouldn't grind as far.
Right.
But he did like legitimate, like the first legitimate long ice pick grinds on ledges
Yeah.
to no footer, and Smith's grind to no footer. And I remember
Yeah.
like
In blind jeans.
I was like, no, not Castillo.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Peric for a second there.
Castillo actually wore like
No, he had style
slim
back
clothes.
then,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
He was the coolest looking BMXer
He
ever.
was. He was like
Yeah.
really
like just white
awkwardly-
t-shirt, black
awkwardly
jeans.
tall on his bike, which I
Yeah.
also identified
He looked
with.
all like kind of goth and
It
punk
was
rock.
awesome. I was like, this dude.
And then he had
style
kind of
was
like a
sick.
cholo style sometimes,
Yeah, it was
with
it
the
was-
white socks pulled up, dude.
Yeah, it was.
OG
it was
Castillo
awesome.
style is
I was
untouchable.
a senior in high school, and I remember my buddy Nick Chin, the first dude who had a video camera. He got BMX Inferno, and I was in the hallway. He's like, "Yeah, I got BMX Inferno," and like, "Castillo have a whole part." He's like, "Yeah," and he just described the no footer. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I was in class like thinking about it. Kids will laugh now. A Smith Grant, a no footer, but in '96.
It was
You know
a
what I
big
mean?
deal.
It was a big
yeah,
deal.
and he
I
did a
was like-
lot in that part. There was
Yeah.
he might have done a rail to manual to 180 in there. He did, or maybe it's just
Well,
rail to
he
manual.
does the first feeble. He does the first manual 180.
Okay,
He
there
does
it
the
was.
feeble to manual 180 in the street at the park benches.
Yeah.
And the Indian gives immediately.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like a 90. That was his move for a while.
But
yeah.
at the time, it didn't even matter.
No.
Like it was.
It was amazing.
Pushing progression so
Maybe he did
hard
rail to
doing
manual?
That trick. He did. He definitely. Oh, he does rail to manual to no footer in the street.
Yeah, there you go.
In Santa Ana.
Classic. Yeah.
Those square rails.
Mhm.
The one that Dakota eventually did pegs to nose manual.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, no, he does that in Dirty Deeds.
Okay. It all blends together because
it
they
does.
were like one after another, and it was the same crews, and
There's not much history I can tell you verbatim nowadays, but
yeah, those ones.
94 to 96, like I can be pretty spot
Those
on.
were good years,
still.
man.
Nowadays, I couldn't tell you ass from an elbow. Back then, I was pretty on point. It was easier back then because there was less stuff to see. Nowadays, I mean, I don't know how you can keep up with stuff.
Yeah, especially the Instagram. I mean, half of it's on there. If you don't have time for Instagram, how would you even know?
So it's funny because like towards the tail end of Ride, I did like a 25 years of handrails article.
That sounds good.
And it was a super labor-intensive thing because it was literally like the first of handrail tricks.
Yeah.
And it started with Matt Hoffman doing the first rail.
Right.
And I think he was the 25-year mark. But it was before Instagram video.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. There's no way. You know, it was. I mean, obviously, web videos were super in tune by then, but like, but nowadays, if I tried to do it today, there's no way. I would. There'd be so many like incorrect things, fact checking. It would be. If we put that out now, people, oh no, I did this. Like, yeah, it
Right.
Would be
Yeah.
so difficult.
Everybody knows somebody that did it.
Yeah.
ABD.
It would be so hard because like back then it was like, okay, all these milestone moves happened in the magazine and or in the video.
Right.
And I tried to like reference whichever one it appeared in first, or I would mention both. Obviously, I would mention if it happened in Ride because it was a Ride article, but I would also reference like props or Etnies video or whatever it was, But today, if like we tried to do something like that, it would be so hard to be accurate. And that was one thing with Ride too. Like, I mean, being like an editorial source, like accuracy was like super important. Because like you look back now and it's like you want it to be like, if you need to like fact check something, if someone had a conversation, like, oh, I think you're wrong. We pull this shit Ride and you can look at it, like, well, it says right here, and we wanted that to be like the concrete, it's like that's accurate.
Now we got Wikipedia, right?
Well, now too, if you said something, you post it on the site and you're wrong, you could go back and change it.
Yeah.
Once the magazine is printed,
it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say we didn't have typos and made some silly mistakes.
I made typos in your magazine, so I'm
typos
sure
are
everybody
one thing,
did.
but like facts are facts. Like you might spell someone's name with a Y instead of an I or something, but like when it comes to like who did what when, like we really want and we obviously make sure that was like accurate.
Yeah. Is there any plans to scan in all the old magazines or?
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't think there's an intern alive who's that hungry.
It's insanity, but you're like, you guys are the archives. You know?
I'd fucking buy it in a heartbeat.
Phil said he'd do it. He's got a scanner. You got a scanner?
I got a cell phone with a camera.
Oh, he'll just
No, it's true.
the next iPhone can do that.
I mean, like, yeah, I don't know.
And I've seen lately Fudger going through the archives, or maybe somebody posted on the Ride account, and it's pretty exciting.
I'm 99.9% time on that guy, but there was something, I was out of town, and he actually hit me up. He's like, hey, where is this and this and this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you have to look here and here and here." But the most recent time, the last time I did a really big dive in archives was for the forthcoming S&M book.
Oh, okay.
And
That makes
was, like,
sense.
a lot of archive stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, because obviously S&M, so much history happened with like rides just being so close to each other. You know,
Yeah,
so,
yours were like 1 mile apart forever.
Yeah, we literally right down the street on Edminger. Yeah, so when they were first doing the book, like they were still working on it, but as far as like rides involvement, I was always, like, of course I want to do this. You know, it's like work on a website or work on a book.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, I'm there. I'm all about it.
I'm about that.
It was awesome. Like,
Speaking of that, archives. Everyone's favorite ride cover, go.
Ooh, mine's controversial because it's the black and white Robbo turn down that I've literally had this conversation with every employee ever at Ride, and they're like, you know, the funny thing is, black and white covers don't sell, and that was everybody's favorite except for the public.
yeah, it was funny.
Sorry to cut your story, but we've had so many talks about how much I love that cover.
That cover was great.
I feel like that cover originated the Dig BMX photo style. Like, it was like captured it perfectly. You know, was that a Keith cover?
It was a good cover.
Yeah, that was so good.
Well, yeah, it was one of those photos you could turn it horizontal or vertical.
Exactly.
And it still looked like it was the proper way to shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know which.
It was like fisheye against the back tire turned down, just
Yeah.
for people who were visualizing here, and it was just beautiful.
And it was a full frame.
I think Robbie was riding a camo Trail Boss. It was just everything about it.
Let's see, he might have been on a Univaga or Auburn. I don't know what.
I feel like it was a little later, but you're right. It could have been.
You're
But for some
right.
reason, I feel like it was camo, so it was standard
It
days.
was probably a standard.
Yeah. And standard was just the pinnacle at that time, you know.
SGA.
But yeah, literally like the way the photo was shot, it could have been. Yeah, it's one thing with a fish shot. You can sometimes do that, or it can be horizontal or vertical, and the photo works. Either way.
If you get abstract enough.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cover ever?
Well, that was one of my favorite covers for sure.
Come
One
on.
of them. But shit.
I got that one.
Favorite cover you haven't shot?
That.
Why Jeff thinks? Phil, what do you got?
So it's 217 covers. So 218 because one issue we had 2 covers. So I have to think about that.
What issue was that?
It was we changed the format. We went. It wasn't square, but it was like pretty close, and it was like Tom White had the cover doing like Smith grind.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite covers.
That was a
shot.
good one.
And then that one went. I want to say it went to newsstands, and subscribers got like a photo, like he shot of like this dude's seat that was like literally like tied to his frame with like a shoelace or something, and it was like black and white medium format photo, and it seemed more like core and like artsy and like, you know.
I got to change my vote, by the way. I'm no longer on the Robbo cover.
You already blew it.
Edwin Truck Driver with the
Oh.
black where you poke the holes out to make it look like stars.
I hit up Jeff
That was
on Instagram
unreal.
asking like, yo, if you ever fucking make a print of this, please save me one. He's
That
like,
photo was
very
so
rare.
unreal.
Oh,
We could not believe that when it came out. Like,
When that
what
came out,
the
I
fuck?
shit my pants.
Yeah.
So
That-
sad.
Metaphorically speaking, I did too.
that photo was
Literally.
like,
Me.
I remember like going into like
That was the prime, dude.
yeah, and I was like, do you want to like wear a spacesuit? Like I was starting to like really ridiculous. Like,
Imagine if you got
nah,
in a
son,
spacesuit.
like, I'm glad he wore a purple shirt because at least it popped
Yeah.
off the
Hard,
background, you know. Like, but it's funny because like we had all these ideas, and my wife was like super into it, like to help like make it. So her and her friends actually like. I think she made their costumes. They were like dressed like space girls, and
So there's a lot more going on.
there's a photo in the issue, like I want to say like a smaller inset photo, and it's like her and 2 of her friends fully wearing like spacesuits, but like girl style, and she made them.
Yeah.
Or she at least like tailored them. And Edwin in his street clothes, wearing like a spaceman helmet. We had to rent. But yeah. So it didn't turn out. Ultimately, it's better than it was the way it was. I think it's the same thing would have been.
Yeah. It was classic. It was like a cool idea, but it was still up to the Edwin image, you know, the purest street rider.
And that was his only ride cover. I mean, he had like
it was a good one though. The fact that you could, on his end, the fact that you could have a flat ground riding ride cover as a street rider was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, and then the fact that a real photographer applied art to it, you know, so it just made this whole thing that we're talking about today. But Phil, what you got?
Mike Escamilla, like front brake tooth.
Oh, dude, that one's good.
In my hometown.
Yeah.
It was like the 5th issue I ever got, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Front brake tooth on a tree.
It's like there's like a bank. There's a sidewalk to bank, and then there's a tree, and he's like 180 whatever on like a tree stump.
That wasn't a ride cover.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Was that or was that a?
I was just thinking a rooftop toothpick, but I don't know about a.
Rooftop's first ride cover was that he jumped over like a.
It was off the Carl's or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like a drive-through.
That one was epic,
yeah.
dude.
That
on that Hoffman, like just
But it might have been
ridiculous
a
looking
Ride K
bike.
cover. His first Ride K cover was like bars off a loading dock or something. I can't remember.
Okay.
Maybe it was a BMX Plus or something.
They were all just flowing back then.
Yeah.
Rooftop was in every issue, everyone, and.
Rooftop and Castillo.
But he had a couple toothpick covers and stuff that were pretty epic. I remember.
Well, he had a Trans BMX cover.
And he was doing BMX Plus as well. Yeah.
He had a ride cover, peg stalling a fence, like the middle piece.
Yeah, that one was sick
and
too.
And it was a fold out and it had the whole sequence.
Yeah.
But
he really was doing it back then.
Yeah, he was.
But then Edwin was my other one. So
yeah. All right. Did you come up with one yet?
Yeah.
Man, I probably would have said the Robbie one.
No, we're good. I changed it, so you're good. You're going to lock in with Robbo.
I honestly would have said the Robbie one. If I had to choose the second one, I probably can't think of one. But
I'm going to pretend you didn't steal mine.
I remember when I actually had my ride interview, that question came up, and I said that one. And they're like, oh yeah, that was like the least well-selling issue.
Every time, dude. Somebody there planted that rumor, dude, because every single time. Keith said it to me, Losi, you know. And I'm like, I don't care. It was the best one.
You know, honestly, like, you hear a statistic, and like, honestly, like, it could have been something else. Like, too, it could have been like, oh, it was the middle of summer because you're just out riding all the time.
Yeah, right. 9/11 happened.
Like, it doesn't have to be because the photo is black and white. Or back then, I think kids ate up anything.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't a lot of options for BMX, so they were just like, you know. Who knows?
I was having coffee with Booty Grosh's this morning and told him the story about that cover, and it was funny. I was explaining to him the origin of clickbait, and I was like, "Yeah, let me tell you how magazine covers worked when I learned." And I was like, juxtaposition, photo color, thumbnail. I was like, it's just YouTube clickbait. Like, I was like, it's crazy. It's entered every form of BMX the whole time.
Having a big number, but not spelled out, but written like 9 best bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys knew the font. You knew,
honestly,
you know.
Rich, so there was a point in time when, like, we had, it was difficult because, I mean, so we always walked this line at Ride where it's like, okay, BMX, like, what we do is a business.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, our own personal beliefs or what we do on our free time and how we get into it might not correspond with business ideals, but we're all in a business. Like, we're all here to help sell bikes. Like, even Ride, like, granted, it's like, we're all photographers and, well, photographers and filmers now, but it's like, we want to promote BMX in the best way possible, but we want to help the brand support Ride, sell their products. So it's like, you have
it's a cycle,
you have to walk the line where it's like, promote BMX the best way you can, but you have to help these brands do what they want to do, you know? Shit, I just totally forgot what got me on this tangent. So the covers thing.
Yeah.
So
clickbait.
There was a point in time because like at one point Trans World Ride was owned by like Time Warner,
Mhm.
and then like Trans World, I don't know. So anyway, there was a point in time where we had these like people who didn't ride bikes, but the publishers like that owned Ride also had all these other magazine titles, you know, like Guns and Ammo and all these other random things, you know, shit that like,
ATVs.
way beyond that,
Okay.
like Motor Trend and all of the like housekeeping type magazines,
Right.
you know, and like even like men's magazines, like every men's magazine cover is always like how to get a six-pack abs. Every single issue, it's the same cover lines, different words. But like BMX, you can't be like how to conquer 20 stair rails. So you can't do that. You know, it's just fucking corny. They would be like, do that, like get these curly.
Yeah.
We want kids to pick up the magazine, but we're not gonna do something like that, you know, and like.
And bless you for not.
And like, but there was a period in Ride where like the cover was littered in words.
Yeah, there were moments.
Yeah, and like we cringed even doing it, but there was times when it's like, well, this is it's almost sometimes to some degree it's almost like, you know, throw a bunch of things at the wall and see what sticks, but like that was like what magazines did. Magazines that didn't do that didn't last that long.
Right.
You know, or they had like 5,000 subscribers, and it's like, and the dudes who did it, who ran it, were working other jobs. They couldn't really like even like afford to like live off of their magazine, and we wanted to continue doing that and do what we do, and you know, it's like you have to walk a line sometimes, you know.
For sure.
But it's like towards the end, we got past that really corporate like micromanaging, and we could dummy it down a little bit, and we could just put less words on the cover. And those are big milestones for us.
Yeah.
We all like at times was like, you need Fudger and Keith Mulligan, you know, and we're like, oh, we don't really want to do that. Like we want to do it like this, but like we can't. We have to send the cover and get it like reviewed by these corporate people who weren't involved with it, you know, and like, you know, it was like, you know, what are they gonna say? Are they gonna come back to us and be like, oh, throw more words on it, you know, do more of this, you know, and it's like, because they're gonna say statistics say that if we do this, it's gonna up the sales, you know, and it's like, yeah, but BMX riders are BMX riders. You're not gonna get some random Joe off the street to be like, oh, I don't know how to do a 20-stair rail. You know what I mean? But every random Joe might be like, I'll go 6-pack abs. But it's like we're not catering to like the random guy.
Yeah, the audience is small for the over 10-stair rail.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and it was a very specific thing. And it's like, if you could do a 10-stair rail, you can do a 20-stair rail.
Yeah.
You know, it's really just like.
That's your next cover title.
It's really just getting your nerves
End of the magazine.
A little bit more, you know what I mean? But it's like, just because you can do sit-ups doesn't mean you're going to get a six-pack.
That's not what Fat Tony told me.
But do you know what I'm saying, though? It's like, so it was a weird dynamic where it was like the people who just don't really get BMX, and it's like those formulas work for the general public type magazines, but they don't work for BMX. You know?
Yeah. Niche industries are so different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But being like having Ride owned by this bigger conglomerate at the time, and it was like we had to always fight against that. It was always like a give and take, you know. And it's like
you guys made it through pretty good.
We did. You know, we definitely weathered that storm. You know, but they kept it going.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, and even though like the actual foundation of Ride is gone, it's still Beat Magazine.
Yeah.
You know, like we're still.
Who knows? It could change. We'll just ride out the wave, dude. Who knows what's next?
You never know.
It could be holograms.
Yeah.
And that's kind of print, kind of digital, kind of, you know, who knows, man? It's.
What camera do you have to use to do that?
That's the GoPro GR. It's being developed.
Speaking of like covers, when Mira died, R.I.P., he had like the cover of that ride, like the old picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
I used an entire tank of gas driving around LA to every newsstand that was listed, looking for that ride.
Yeah.
Because I was subscribing on my phone, but I didn't have like a physical subscription. Driving fucking everywhere. Like,
are you pushing for a refund from Jeff right now?
Okay, I want to find out. No, so I drove from Sun Valley.
Oh my god.
From Sun Valley. What's near San Diego? Escondido.
Mexico.
No, Escondido. Is it near?
Do you
Yeah.
really drop
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
San Diego,
Sun
right?
Valley to Escondido in one day, looking for that fucking magazine.
Wow.
I hit up Caleb. I'm like, hey,
Quan.
do you know Jeff Z's email? He gives me Jeff's email. I'm like, hey, blah, blah, 90,000 word fucking email about why I need this thing. Jeff's like, what's your address? I'll send you a copy.
Oh,
Yeah, still to this day, in my room, it never...
you got it. Okay.
It doesn't see the light of day. It sits in the shade in a... What is that acid-free paper frame
Yeah.
that I took?
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
comic books.
I paid $645 to have it sealed.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Wow, this
Swear to
man
God.
cares right here, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he
It's-
might own the oldest ride relic at one point.
What were you doing in Sun Valley? Did you live there?
Okay, I lived in Burbank. So
Okay.
there's a newsstand in Sun Valley that I called him, like, hey, you guys have a BMX magazine? He's like, yeah, I'd show up as a road bike.
Oh.
So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I have the day off, this is where my hunt begins. Sun Valley, all through Burbank, all through North Hollywood, Studio City, Van Nuys, West Hollywood, everywhere, all the way down to Escondido.
That's
Every newsstand I could find, it was literally an entire tank of gas and a
Hey.
good gas mileage car. And then at the end of it, I was like so frustrated. I was like, yo, I'm gonna fucking cry.
That's
This
a
has
loyal supporter right there.
been a long. It's like, yo, I got my first BMX bike because of Mir. So I
Right.
was like, you know,
Gotta have it.
I have to have this magazine. And then I got it, and I was like, even when I got it in the mail, you could tell that like mail carrier didn't really take care of it, and it was already kind of bent.
That's the worst that happens.
So I took it to this dude in Riverside, and he like got it all nice and crispy. He's like, "Yo, we got this place. Like, you seal it. It's
Money
like,
launderer.
it's yeah." He's like, "No." He's like, "It's guaranteed not to like get sun faded or something for like 100 years, but it's expensive." He's like, "People do it with like
Very expensive, it sounds like.
yeah, people do it with like these crazy family photos that are like, what are they, the 10 things and all this other
Right.
crazy shit." I was like, yeah, fucking run it, do it, whatever. But yeah, still have
I
it.
think that's a solid move.
It
Yeah.
hangs above my desk, slightly behind where my door shades from the sun, so it's not the
Sick.
sun. Yeah.
That's dope. So we're an hour and 41 minutes in right now.
Why
This is
not?
I
our
feel like we didn't talk about it.
yeah. This is our longest one. That's the way they always go. You're like, we
Yeah.
went nowhere. But I feel like we got to get into a little bit of the questions people sent in.
Let's answer 2 and call it.
I was thinking 3. I got a bunch, but most of them like.
Can I see him? Can I see him really
No
quick?
offense, they're not super applicable, and I want to make sure Jeff's included. And so, if it's questions about sponsoring people, things like that, those more just apply to me. So it's there's a few in there
Well, if I
though.
was gonna sponsor somebody-
I'm gonna open it up with the first one actually that I got, and I don't even remember the name of the person, but
Which one was it?
but somebody asked us what we thought about what Suge Knight's kid said.
Oh, fire. I know the whole scoop.
And I don't even know the story, but
Do
apparently
you guys want to chime in? Or should I take
Apparently,
this?
Jeff, Suge Knight's kid said Tupac's still alive, and he has
Yeah.
all the info.
So he went on these.
So weigh in on that.
He went on a Twitter or Instagram rant, like tyrant, posting photos, and he like posted these mad grainy photos of like a supposedly 50-year-old Tupac with Jay-Z.
the
And-
Brian G sent this in.
Thank you, Brian G,
Yeah.
for surfacing this very important information. And then he like posted a screenshot of someone texting him like, "Yo, you said too much. We gotta take you out now." Like some real mafioso
Yeah.
shit. And whatever. That was like 2 days ago. It's already blown over, but
And apparently
Tupac's
not.
alive,
Brian
so-
G's still on it. So
Brian G.
so Jeff, is it true or is it false? You're a photographer.
Wait, who Suge Knight?
Suge Knight is
No,
the,
I'm just kidding.
Okay. It's like this is kind of a deep story who Suge Knight is.
I don't really follow.
Okay, so you don't have a definitive answer on that. All right, well neither do I.
Tamara did mention me like 2 days ago that he's going to jail for like 28 years.
Yeah,
Oh, shit,
he literally was getting mobbed in a parking lot and just floored the car over a
mobbed?
person.
He killed
Like,
manslaughter,
killed 2
right?
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Two
actually,
people?
I didn't know he killed 2 people.
He just drove over. He pulled up on people at a party, acting all buck, being Suge Knight, and then when it got too hot, drove away and just ran over.
There's
2
video
people.
of it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
on like TMZ. It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, it's a bad move.
Dude's ruthless.
Bad look there, bro. But
For shame. Suge
so
Knight.
my vote is that Tupac is not alive. I just don't think anybody can keep a secret that good. Who's ever kept a secret, period, that long? Not me,
Yeah.
And that would be like a whole lot of people. These people are...
But it's Malaysia, dude.
He disappeared with that airplane.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would take that Tupac was on that flight.
That's fair.
I'd be like, oh, okay.
It's a nice meet in the middle.
Yeah. And then he could still be alive because they ain't found the plane. But I think they found enough of that.
Yeah.
So that one, maybe that didn't apply to Jeff as much as I was thinking.
Are these on the over the bars? I was curious.
I got both. Yeah, I got a whole bunch. Here's a kind of interesting one. What do you think about the importance of events in BMX, like jams and all that type of thing? Do you think they're important to the culture?
I definitely do.
Yeah.
I think events are a great way nowadays for kids to get noticed.
True.
I think a perfect example was at the Ham.
Yeah. A lot of kids came up through that, dude.
For me personally, Justin Shorty.
Oh yeah.
It's the first time I heard of him.
Yeah.
And he just did like one or two things that were like different. Like what did he do? I can't recall exactly. Wasn't like a grind combo. He grinded something, but it was like not the part that was intended to be grinded. And in my mind, like that's how street riding.
Oh yeah, it might have been the outside of the hub.
Oh, it was.
Where it's
Yeah,
wood.
Smith grind.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was sick. I think he did it to grind the stage, like both of them. Yeah.
And I was like, I was sick. That was really raw.
Yeah.
And like he did it like
he found a new way to use it.
He looked raw.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, I'm like, that dude's sick.
Yeah.
And since then, he and I have done a couple things together. And
Ethan won all of those in Julian. So
but those guys did. But they were like, everyone knew who they were.
Yeah, they were obvious.
You or Adam might have been there announcing, and everyone knew. Hobie Dawn.
Dude, yeah.
I remember Hobie jumped up from the back.
Hop on the stage, the highway, dude.
Hop on the stage, the manual to grind.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
to like hanger, dude.
Yeah. Damn, this kid is fucking good. The whole day was just like flawless.
Mm-hmm. He's so good.
And, like, I definitely like
Austin Augie too. He was at one of them, and I didn't even know who he was. And I remember I was like, "Who's that kid?" Like, and he was just going slow and like manualing the rail.
Yeah.
I think he was actually trying to manual 180 the rail. Which how crazy is that down the stairs? It's
so in that respect, as far as like
you can really that's a good way to get noticed.
Kids making themselves, but granted, that's California.
Yeah.
And that's at Tip Plus.
Yeah.
If there was an event like
still,
in the West
on a smaller scale, similar deal, right?
Yeah, and then I also feel like events are important. I mean, it really does like bring a scene together. It's like everyone shows up together, and I mean, there might be like different groups of kids that like maybe like don't fully get along. They're all probably going to go to the event, and they're all end up riding together. And whether or not like they become best homies after that, they all that day they at least all showed up on the road.
Yeah.
And I feel like it definitely like gives kids something to look forward to in their scene because they're like, and then it might force them to like push themselves the day of.
Yeah.
So they excel a little more in their own abilities. So it's like
kind of accelerates the progression.
Yeah, and I mean we all want to progress.
Yeah.
It's like
whatever your thing is.
I'm pretty sure it's like with AM stuff like that too, like the ham thing. It's like those kids learn how to like tuck the fear away for a second.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people. And that stays with them.
Mm-hmm.
Riding in front of people is definitely weird.
It was never working for me. When you see it happen in a kid, you're like, oh, he's got something, I guess, because that's terrible for me.
I can only do clips and alleys and at nighttime.
Yeah, if there's one filmer, I'm like, too much.
Yeah, oh God, the pressure is so immense.
That was a good question, though.
Yeah. So another one I got repeatedly in here is...
How do you get sponsored?
No, actually, that one is the other one, but we're going to skip it. No offense to people that sent it,
Don't be a shithead.
This just isn't the interview for that one, but we'll save that for Moeller and Robbie when they come on together.
I can tell kids, but I think
Moeller and Robbie joint episode. We'll do all the sponsorship questions.
It's going to be a fucking 15-hour interview.
It's going to be sick. Oh, it's coming on Black Friday next year.
Did you have fly on the wall during that?
Yeah, but
no way you guys got in the same room.
A lot of people were asking our thoughts on the Nike thing, which is kind of weird because if you're in the industry, to all of us, the Nike thing ended like a year ago. When Losi stopped working there, basically, you were like, oh, well, I guess it's done. They're going to pay these guys out to be a cool company. For a little while, they're actually going to drop them. But you know what I mean? I think Losi kind of made it clear that when he left, it was kind of probably the end of the program. But I don't know what our thoughts would honestly be about it. It is what it is. But how do you feel about it? Does it matter? Do you have any... does it matter to BMX at all that Nike's leaving it?
I mean, it sucks. Okay, so, well, first of all, I feel like when it started, I don't think anyone expected it to last as long as it did.
Facts, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Because the 6.0 thing was the launch kind of, and you were like, well, this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, that
we're not going to real Nike.
So it definitely lasted longer, I'm sure, than like the time anyone thought it would. I mean, the skate one is still going.
Yeah, SB is going hard.
So hard.
But I you know, it was like, but yeah, it's skateboarding. Whatever. There's just different.
It bridges their gap
different.
into the mall.
Yeah, you know. But what I think of most about it is like, it's kind of unfortunate because like, okay, when you think about the shoe brands that are left, like, I mean, Vans is doing really well, but the Vans team is huge.
Yeah.
It's already stacked with like these incredible riders and these dudes. Like, how could, like, you know, and it's like Etnies seems to be kind of struggling with their pro team a little bit. Like,
it's hard to say what they're.
Not there anymore.
Yeah, I don't know who runs it anymore.
You know,
I don't know what the deal is.
I mean, if Poe's not there, Poe's the man.
He was the backbone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm like, well, that's just a red flag to me. You know, if John's not there, who the fuck can they take to take that his place?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean,
there's not a lot of options right now.
Not a lot of options,
yeah.
You know? I mean, it's like...
Somebody should bring some BMX shoes back.
Someone should pick up the whole Nike team.
Yeah.
But for real, you know, it's
the
like...
whole fucking Nike
I mean, it's like...
I don't know if I got it like that.
It's always funny, too, because I used to think about once in a while, like it's like... how incredibly skilled like Dennis and Garrett are.
Yeah.
And it's like, for Nike, all the athletes on their payroll, I mean, they're probably paid pretty low compared to like...
Come on,
you
right?
know?
They're like bottom 10%.
Yeah, you know, and it's like... And granted, like, they're just as skilled as all of like these other dudes. And what they do was like way more... like the shit that Dennis does is so dangerous and risky.
Yeah, he's a
it's
stunt
like,
man.
A lot of these other guys, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, like basketball. I mean, tens of thousands more kids are playing basketball every day than riding bikes. You know, so to be at the top of your game in basketball is like a needle in a haystack. I get that. You know, it's like maybe if that many kids apply themselves to bike riding, there would be more Dennis Andersons. Mm-hmm. Who knows? You know, but the raw skill and like risk that a guy like that puts on himself, like you see the shit he does, it's fucking mind bending. You know what I mean? Like that guy deserves all the money in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and he doesn't get that.
He does not get all the money in the world.
I mean, good for him. He's not like he's comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now the Nike's out of the picture, it's like really like that guy has to like. I mean, presumably he has to look for like a shoe deal.
Right. Yeah. How does he look? How does he have to look?
Yeah.
The greatest of all time has to look.
You know exactly. Like, come on. Like it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
That's a reality situation.
Yeah, we're bummed for people we know that are basically going to lose a great opportunity.
But and we are assuming this. Like, hey, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he's got something great going on that we don't know about.
Of course. Yeah, totally. I only mean...
And Garrett, and AK, and Curly.
Yeah, Simone, all of them.
You know, and, you know, there's a lot of European dudes.
That was our mandatory Simone talk for this episode.
Boom.
Every episode we got to bring him up. That's the only rule.
Chris Kyle. You know, there's a lot of dudes who wear Nikes who... I know that's an incredible list of bike riders right there.
It is. It's all of them.
I mean,
all the good ones.
Dudes are all so good. Like
he didn't say Eric L's name, so.
Oh my bad. That's Vance. We're good.
Yeah, it's Vance.
Yeah.
The other one.
We're gonna talk about the greatest riders. You gotta mention.
Yeah, but I'm with you.
The fact that those guys don't have a solid footing on their footwear now.
Yeah.
It's just like really.
The footwear is a major part of for kids that don't get it. You know, your bike sponsors your main paycheck. For a normal BMX rider, your port sponsor is a little bit smaller, and your shoe sponsor is where all the money comes from, unless you have an energy drink sponsor, and then you're the golden child, because the energy drinks, they're on a whole different level, you know. So that's really the tier there, you know. So keep that in mind when you're talking to a bike sponsor, and you're like, I need that Vans and Nike money. You gotta get it from Vans and Nike, guys. We still sell bikes, unfortunately.
Bikes, bro.
But those were the two most relevant questions. I think we can probably wrap it up there. I don't want to keep you all night. I know you got to get back to the family.
Yeah, it's 11:15. I'm 3 minutes past canceling my movie reservation.
Yeah.
So
You lost.
I just lost
Seriously?
$16.50.
Oh man, we
Damn
talked
it.
about that first
I
thing
want to
too.
see fucking Lady Gaga, bro.
You could have checked sooner.
No, I'm not pressed about it. $16.
All right. Well, Phil lost a movie ticket. We will be starting a GoFundMe at the end of this episode to recoup it.
GoFundMe's for everything nowadays.
Patreon, whatever it is, we'll get it activated. Maybe you make some profit. I don't know.
Yeah, there'll be different tiers.
It's $17.
Whew, now we're
So that's it for the episode. Jeff, thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks for